Hello, friends, and welcome back to Pages and Pens / Julie the Author / my channel. We're going to be reacting to another Unhaul today. This one is specifically from April of 2017. That's right. There's so many of these, friends, but I've been very happy to hear that you guys enjoy the series and you like looking back with me. So thank you for that. I appreciate you. I have 4 videos on the docket today, so we're going to do some bulk filming, get some reactions in, and I have no idea how many books are in these. I have not watched any of them ahead of time. I'm actually looking forward to the point where we get to books that are a little bit more current and not just ones that I was binge buying because of BookTube and or had already had on my shelves from the move and were just keeping hold of, because so far they've been books that are so obscure, not a single person would be mad to not have them anymore. So we're going to see how this one goes. So I'm going to share my screen again, same setup, same everything, and see how we do. And this is just my way to look back at my unhauls, determine whether or not I regret any of the things I got rid of. And now that I have a modicum of space again, decide if I need to repurchase anything. I don't know that that's going to ever be a thing I feel like I need to do, but we're going to see. So let's look at what I was getting rid of in April of 2017. Look at me lying right to your face. I think it was 2018. That's 5 years ago. We're going to give it a go. Do I want to do the one where like I'm half a screen and the video is smaller?
Which way you prefer?
Do we care about my face?
Love your face.
We love my face. All right. Amber says we love my face, so we'll try it this way. Everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a 23.
How many of you have gotten a guitar?
I monetized that bitch. Here we go.
Hi everybody, it is Julie. Welcome back to Pages and Pens. Today I am here with a 23 book unhaul. I think I did my math right. I don't know. Let's jump into it.
23 books. Here we go.
Okay guys, the other night it was legitimately, I think 11:30 at night, and I was overcome by the fact that I had stacks of books that did not fit into my shelves, and I decided it was time for an unhaul. I had to get rid of some more books and really, really get cutthroat about what was there that I had read that I was never going to read, or that was there unread that I was never going to read, or that I just don't want anymore. Yeah, I put a whole bunch and I relocated them to my...
Relocated. I love how I explain what an unhaul is when it's very, very clear what an unhaul is. Also, why did I choose to pause there?
Closet?
The lipstick choice that I am making. The sheer lipstick choice. Also, I was still rocking a lot of Makeup Geek eyeshadow and a full face of foundation. That's not the color of my face. Wow. That lipstick was a choice. Here we go.
That I wanted to keep because they were like special Outcrate editions that I didn't maybe love, but I didn't hate, but they're signed and they're pretty. Put them in the closet. I put my entire Sarah J. Maas Throne of Glass series in the closet because I just don't need to see them on a day-to-day basis, with the exception of Assassin's Blade, because I freaking love that book. And then I picked 23 books that I think I can get rid of. So we're going to go over them. A couple of these have already been allocated to a friend that I am sending away for, just because they've been so amazing to me. So I wanted to give something back and they wanted them. Other than that, these are all getting sold back to half price books to hopefully maybe potentially fund a haul that I do from the bookstore and or BookCon money. But this stuff is going to go. I'm going to start off with this trilogy. This is the Chelsea Fine, Right Kind of Wrong, Ray Perfect Kind of Trouble, Best Kind of Broken. These were sent to me from Elisa Books and Smiles, I believe is still her channel name. And I started to try to read the first one of these and I just didn't feel particularly invested in them. And I decided that I just don't need to keep these. I have so many contemporaries that I just want to be a little bit more picky about what I'm spending my time reading, especially when I have to like invest in a full series. And this one just wasn't cutting.
It is so tough when people send me books and I just don't connect with them. This was, I think we did a book exchange. Like we both sent books potentially. I don't really remember entirely. However, I really am of the mindset that I can't just keep it because it was gifted to me. At the beginning of my channel, I was being gifted a lot of books, and I was insanely grateful for it. But not all of them were like off of a wish list or off of something that I was interested in. They were just kind of coming my way. Again, super thankful and grateful. And you never know, some of those books definitely became some of my favorites. And I still have my notes in a whole bunch of these books from the people that gifted them to me. But yeah, I don't regret not having those.
It. This is one that I think might actually go up the mountains and go poolside for me.
It
Because I
didn't.
think my mom and my sisters might enjoy reading them up there, but it's just not going to stay here on my shelves. I'm also getting rid of Beautiful Redemption and Whispers at Moonlight because I realized I picked these up because I hadn't finished these series, and these are the books that I left off on. And then I realized I don't care. I have forgotten so much about these series. And while I enjoy,
I realized I didn't care. And that holds up. Those are not series that I needed to finish. And I can appreciate that, like, hey, this was a series I used to enjoy. Here's the book I left off on. Let me continue. But some series just don't continue to hold your interest, and that's okay. Again, am I surprised that they were YA series? Not entirely, no. So, yeah, we got 23 books to go through, so let's keep going.
enjoyed Beautiful Redemption and I think, what is this, the Shadow Falls series. I don't need to go back to them. I would legitimately have no idea where these even pick up, and I don't need to invest that time to finish series that are this old that I've forgotten about when there's so many new series that I want to read that I would rather spend my time on. I spent money on them on Book Outlet, but I'm just not going to ever read them, so they're going to go. I'm also going to get rid of Catherine Ho's House Conversion. This is a thriller. This was like a scratch and dent as well. Senior year is a pressure cooker. Everyone is expected to keep it together until they can't, or no one knows when it started. No one knows who to blame. It's a creepy, gripping novel, intimately layered. I could potentially be talked into keeping this for like a spooky October read, but I have other ones. I have The Merciless. I have Anna Dressed in Blood, the follow-up to Anna Dressed in Blood. I have Slasher Boys and Monster Girls, or the other way around. I don't know what that title is. I have other like spooky books. I have Hidden, which is the follow-up to You. Like, I have other.
Every spooky book that I mentioned, in lieu of reading this one, I have also gotten rid of. I don't own any of those anymore. But it is nice to know that even at the beginning of 2018, I was reading thrillers, but I don't regret not having that one. I think that was an okay decision. It is an interesting cover. But yeah, no, I'm okay with that.
Ones that I want to read, and this one is not, it's not talking to me. So I think I'm going to get rid of it. Also, is this historical? No, it's not. So yeah, I think that one's going to go. Unless you guys say that I really need to keep it and that it's really amazing.
The highlight on the end of my nose is so intense. It is the day after Christmas, and I have never looked more Rudolphy in my whole life. Like when it was on the edge of your nose and then the tip of your chin. Like, why was this what we decided? It was not a good look.
It's going to go. Then I'm getting rid of Lick and Play, which are the Stage Dive series. These were also sent to me by Lisa, and I read them both in physical copy, but I also own the entire like collection of these books on my Nook, and I feel like I don't need the first two in physical and then the rest on my Nook. I can just continue to read them on my Nook if I want to reread them at any point. And they're fun, and I thought about keeping them to send away for a traveling book, but I just don't know that these are something that I'm going to ever send for a traveling book, so I'm going to just get rid of them. They were great reads.
They were fine reads. There was nothing wrong with those reads. They were perfectly okay. And definitely the beginning, I would say, of my booktube, more raunchy contemporary. They were not ones I was ever going to like display. So I'm okay with that. But I don't not recommend them. I don't know how they would hold up now. At the time, they were fine. They were rock star romance, you know.
I definitely do recommend them if you're into like new adult smexy time, but I'm just not going to keep it. Then I have On the Fence by Casey West, which was probably one of my like least hated Casey West books, but I still just don't need to keep Casey West on my shelf after I read them. She's not a favorite of mine. Sorry. I'm also getting rid of Christina Lauren's Dating You, Hating You. This is an ARC copy, so I don't even.
All right. First of all, I will never regret getting rid of a Casey West. And I was like, this is my least hated Casey West, but it's still not a good one. I also don't remember this particular Christina Lauren. They are so wildly hit and miss for me. So far, good choices. But we are at least getting to like ones that I remember, which is nice, you know?
I don't even know if I can sell this back to Half Price Books. I might just end up donating it somewhere. I loved Roomies by Christina Lauren, but I did not like this book at all. So it's going to go because I don't need to keep it. I don't know what I can legally do with it, but I'm not going to keep it. I'm so sorry, Chelsea. I love you so much.
Ooh.
I'm getting rid of the Hating Game. Not because I didn't like it. It was a 4-star.
I couldn't think when I was like, I'm sorry, Chelsea, what book it might be, but of course it was The Hating Game. I actually sent this to her, so I think that's like her 8th copy or something of the book, and I don't know that she had the paperback version of it yet, but yeah. I think I just said I gave it 4 stars and still wanted to just get rid of it because I knew I wasn't gonna read it again, but it was not a 4-star kind of book for me. I wanted to love it, and it wasn't a difficult read in terms of like it read fast. It's just not my fave. I'm fine with this.
Book I think I gave it. I'm never going to reread it, so it's going to go because it's taken up room. I'm also getting rid of Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's We Should All Be Feminists. I read this. I think it's very, very important for people that need to start a course in feminism, but this one just didn't connect to me, didn't tell me anything new or empower me, do much for me that I didn't already feel and believe as a feminist. So this is going to go to another home that hopefully can be better well suited to. I had to switch out my battery, guys. I'm also going to get rid of Dusk or Dawn or Day by Shauna Maguire. I really kind of wanted to have a whole collection of Shauna Maguire work because I really love her Wayward Children series. But the truth of the matter is this book wasn't good. I read it and I didn't love it. It's very, very different.
This book wasn't good. Yeah, I don't regret getting rid of that. And I do love Shauna Maguire and Myra Grant. I enjoy their books. However, I do not need to have them all. There are plenty that I have read by them and then still gotten rid of or just never owned. And that one was not good. I was okay getting rid of that one. Nonfiction tends to be, unless it's something that really stands out to me, something that I tend to pass on to other people to be able to experience. They're not ones that I usually keep on my shelves. So these are all okay life choices.
Anya's Ghost, which I read for Contemporary-a-thon. It's not a contemporary because it does have a ghost in it, but this is a graphic novel. It is YA. It's not middle grade. I thought it was going to be more middle grade just because of like how young the ghost or the person on the front looks. But this one dealt very, very poorly with like eating disorders and bully. Like I just didn't like it. I was not a fan, so it's gonna go. I'm also getting rid of a couple of my Owl Crate books. I'm getting rid of this special edition of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. I don't like Alice's Adventures in Wonderland at all. And while this is beautiful, I'm never going to reread it. I'm also getting rid of Sleepy Hollow and Other Short Stories by Washington Irving. I read Sleepy Hollow. I hated Sleepy Hollow. I'm never going to read the other stories in this, so these are going to go to another home. I'm also getting rid of Milk and Honey by Rupi Kaur. I had a couple.
All right. So, yes, all of those totally fine to go. Regret nothing. There's nothing categorically wrong with any of them. They just didn't connect with me, and I didn't need to keep them. So we had a nonfiction, we had a YA, they weren't books that I needed to keep. So I'm all right with all those. And I think that my reasoning for them in the video was pretty spot on. I think with the exception so far of The Hating Game, I've been pretty honest about my feelings. I was so afraid to hate The Hating Game.
I'm getting rid of Aminas Voice. This is a middle grade Own Voices Pakistani American book, and I really did enjoy it, but I'm not going to reread it. I might actually give it to one of my nieces. I could give it away, but I might see if my nieces want this before I get rid of it. Ugh, Chelsea's going to hate me. I'm getting rid of Honor Girl by Maggie Thrash. It was fine. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't. I hated the ending. The ending seriously ruined the entire graphic novel for me. While I'm so happy that this exists, this is a graphic memoir, and I'm glad that Maggie had a chance to tell her story. I don't relate to the boy band references. I don't relate to the camp references. I don't relate to the coming to terms with your sexuality references, because it's just not something that I had to do. And I can appreciate the book.
Okay, so Amina's Voice, I believe, did go to my nieces. And Honor Girl, I love this. 5 years ago, Julie just was like, "No, I'm crazy straight. This checks out. This is not something I need to deal with." And it wasn't. I mean, at that age, it definitely wasn't. So valid. I'm surprised that I that harshly critiqued something that was a memoir, because normally I wouldn't. It's just difficult to critique somebody's actual life experiences, but I do not remember exactly what the ending is, but I apparently had very strong feelings about it right after finishing it. So again, can't really regret that. And I don't remember it enough that I think I would regret not having it, because I don't remember what it was.
Book despite all of those things, but the ending was so bad. And I know that there's going to be another one, so maybe that is redeemed, but I don't think I'm going to be reading the next one. So this just was not for me, so it's going to go back. I'm also sorry, Dylan. I'm getting rid of The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Hand. I love Cynthia Hand, and this is a gorgeous book with deckled edges. It's centered around Christmas. It's kind of like a Christmas story.
First of all, I do not love Cynthia Hand. I think I had read only like My Lady Jane that she wrote, like co-wrote with people. And I've never read anything else by them, and I've never continued with that series, so I do not love their writing. And that was just okay. I mean, I read it. It was fine, but I don't regret it. There was a lot of holiday readathons and like Christmas readathons happening at this time, but it was just not one that I felt compelled to keep. I wasn't crazy about it.
Telling, the Ghosts of Christmas Past kind of a thing, a redemption arc for a girl who's just super entitled and rich and taking everything for granted. And it was fine, but it wasn't phenomenal. I'm not going to reread it. I think somebody else will hopefully enjoy it more than me. And then these are the books that I'm going to be gifting to somebody because they're really intrigued by them and they want to read them. So I will be giving these to Stephanie. And this is the School for Good and Evil trilogy, the original trilogy by So Mancinani. These are gorgeous covers. They're super cool. They're middle grades about a girl who is taken from her town and sent to a magical school, one for good, one for evil, where they learn how to become the princesses and princes of stories, or the villains in stories. It's a really cool premise, and I actually really liked the books, but they put me in a weird reading slump. There was something about the way that they were written that made them so hard for me to read. Like, they took me a really long time to read, but I enjoyed the story overall, which is very, very strange. So book 1 is A School for Good and Evil. Book 2 is A World Without Princes. And book 3.
This remains, I think, one of the most talked about things. This is the video where I unhaul the School for Good and Evil series, and I say that it put me in a reading slump. Amber's in here doing stuff while I record, but that's... she comments on it quite frequently. I was in a reading slump. I read 17 books this month. And I was like, I get it. It wasn't a slump. It's just, it put me in a weird mindset when I got done them. I don't regret getting rid of that, especially if I sent it to Stephanie and I sent it to somebody who was going to enjoy it. I did like them. And since then, the kids that I nannied for have read them. Other people have read them. And I don't think there's anything wrong with them at all. They're not something I would need to repurchase, and I'm glad that they went somewhere where somebody else can read and experience and enjoy them, because I will not reread them. But yeah, I think had I had the shelf space, I probably would have kept them, but I don't know what purpose that would have served, because I don't think I would have reread them. But they are beautiful covers. They're very cool. They are a neat premise, but yeah. Not a true regret. Like, I wouldn't repurchase them. I'm glad they went somewhere where they were going to get enjoyed.
3 is The Last Ever After. Very, very cool series. And I hope that Stephanie enjoys it more than I do. not that I didn't enjoy it. I hope she continues to enjoy it and then maybe passes them on to somebody that she knows in her life that might enjoy them as well. Very, very fun middle grade. I really enjoyed them. I'm just not going to reread them. So that's everything for this particular Unhaul.
Great life choices. I'm fine with that. When I look at those and say, are those ones that I would have put on to pack and move and carry and like transport to this house? No, they're not. Oh my God, can I please stop sharing that screen? That was horrific. That is the 5th reaction video. I got 3 more coming up today that I'm going to go ahead and film, and then I'll edit and upload these and get them up for you. So who knows what the next one's going to bring? Stay tuned and we'll see how the series goes. Are there any of these that are like your favorites that you would have kept? I'm always curious. Let me know. The comments have been great on these because I have had people saying, "Oh, I really love that book," or "Oh yeah, I got rid of that one too." So it's always interesting to see people's varying opinions on things. So leave me a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.